Sir Michael Palin and Rylan.
Yes. Oh, hello. Michael Palin's here. Thanks, Rylan.
We're all very
Thingy.
excited.
I don't know what his second name is.
He ain't got one.
He's like Kylie,
Rylan
just one.
And
And now then,
Rylan Briggs.
Sir Michael Palin,
Yes, sorry.
Rylan has a bus stop in his garden. Isn't this true?
I do, yeah. I have one on my driveway.
You could make it green.
I could make it green. I've got
There
a bus
it
stop on
is.
my driveway and a tube station.
Price of fame, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Listen.
Wonderful. I've applied for a bus.
Yeah, it was that or spend it on a load of girls, and I decided to do that.
Hey, well, look, Sir Michael, I mean, as a man who I'm sure these days you don't travel necessarily to your destinations via a bus stop.
No.
You've been...
Too easy.
Yeah, it'd be too easy. I mean, in your brand new series, you've travelled to some amazing places, one of which, Iraq.
Yeah.
Such an extreme place. I mean, why would you choose to go there and learn more?
Well, we've had been to North Korea together, so, you know, we had to choose something as challenging. You couldn't just go to Tuscany after North Korea.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you could.
well, you could, yes, and we should. Let's face it, we should do it. But what intrigued me about Iraq, for 30 years, just had bad news coming out of there. Destruction, war, damage, people killed, invasion. And I just wondered, a country like that with enormous history, you know, of some of the ancient civilizations started in Iraq, how people dealt with that period. How do people survive something like that? Is there a kind of resilience that gets people through really, really awful times? So that was part of it. So I love meeting the people and finding out on the street what people think, because you never get that from the headlines in the newspapers or the media.
And what did they say then? Did you get to the bottom of that?
They were lovely. I was in Mosul, and it was just a totally ruined area in the old city of Mosul. And all the buildings have been shattered over the last 5 years. And there's some children there, and they just sort of came up to me, and I was almost I couldn't believe it, really. And they didn't want me crying or anything like that. They just wanted to show me, you know, how I use one of them had a catapult, so I used a catapult. And then they wanted to show me the houses, most of which were sort of, you know, half damaged anyway. But that's where they lived. They'd made a life out of this. They wanted to welcome me. They took me somewhere where food was available and all that sort of thing. And that I think you tend to feel there's just bad news coming out of a place. But it's not like that when you live there. You don't want to be thought of as a country that just has bad news.
Well, one of the places you went to was the Great Mosque in Samarra.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Rylan, watch this now, because it's heart-stopping. Here you go.
The minaret has 650 steps and nothing to stop you falling off the side. Oops. Thank you, shukran. I'm not trying to scare myself, but most places would have the handrail there as well as here. Ooh. Best not to look right over the edge. And you meet people on the phone coming down. Thank you. All right, you stay there. I'll go here.
We nearly lost the national treasure there.
I went right up to the very top, though. Overcame serious vertigo and to stand there, and it was, you know...
Can we just appreciate the bloke on the phone? Like, yeah, don't worry about it,
Well,
mate.
not just that. I also appreciate the fact that Sir Michael's done that wearing a blue shirt. And managed to go all the way up to the top without a sweat mark. It was amazing. But what I do want to know, genuinely, health and safety form on that, is it real?
No, I mean, honestly, maybe it's just Channel 5 are a bit more independent. But I was working for the Bee, but they wouldn't have let me get out of the car, let alone go up there. But that's the thing when you're filming in places like that. You can't plan it absolutely. You don't know what you're going to do. You just got to go for it.
Yeah.
And you can't suddenly put on a helmet or jacket or you know, sort of rope to the wall. Yeah. The whole point about that was that it is pretty dangerous. And they don't have a rail on the outside; they have it on the inside. So you know, but that's what makes it a great sequence, and a lovely building, absolutely beautiful.
Beautiful building.
Yeah.
It looks phenomenal.
That's the old history. There were so many buildings that were thousands of years old in Iraq. Yeah. Some of them, you know, have been sort of destroyed, but there's still a lot of brilliant
beautiful.
stuff.
Yeah.
It looks so beautiful.
With this trip as well, were there any real kind of stand-up moments for you personally?
Well, there was a crazy festival in Kurdistan, northern part of Iraq, which was the end of their... it was a sort of New Year thing, actually, and there's a little village which is in the mountains, and they just have this incredible celebration all day long of fireworks, explosions,
Oh,
and
pretty.
It culminates in this fantastic procession where they carry torches, flaming torches, up to the top of the mountain. But we got right in the heart of it, where they were actually lighting the torches, and it was very dangerous. I mean, people were just going wild with excitement.
Yeah.
And I was nearly barbecued at one point. Just how did I do the rest of the series with half my hair missing? You know, just
so many close shaves. And you've had the diary entries from the trip published into a book.
Yes,
which coincides with the series beautifully.
Yeah.
Now, we were saying earlier, we are really jealous because I've talked to you about this before, but you've kept a diary for a long time, haven't you?
It's quite a nerdy thing to do, but I have. I started my diary when our first child was born, Tom, in 1969. Oh. And it's really, I just wanted to sort of have a record of how he was growing up. And 2 months later, Monty Python started. So it's actually, the diary started from the Monty Python years. But there's nothing about Python in there at all. We didn't think anything would happen. It's all about my son. He's doing first steps and all that.
How lovely is that?
Parrot sketches and he mentioned, you know.
Yeah, but those are the important things, aren't they?
Oh, they are? Yeah, well, yes. Well, parrot sketch was quite important. Otherwise, I'd have been out of a job.
That's true. You're on tour soon as well.
Yeah, I started last night.
What can you tell us then about that, Michael? What can you tell us about this?
Well, it's, I'm going around the first half. It's called the Axis of Evil tour because it starts in North Korea, my experiences in North Korea, then the experiences in Iraq, 2 countries which George Bush said were on the Axis of Evil. So we do this jolly evening. Welcome to the Axis of Evil tour. But there are, you know, it's my reminiscences and lots of sort of backstage stuff that you don't see on the film. Lots of visuals, nice little clips. It's a terrific evening and very cheap.
Wow.
Well, we'll come. It sounds like a good night out.
Cheap,
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sir Michael. And you can catch the next episode of Michael Palin Into Iraq on Channel 5 next Tuesday at 9 p.m. His book, of course, is out now, and tickets are available for Michael's tour.
Cheap, apparently.
Yeah.
Cheap.
Yes.
Now, it's that time of the week when we celebrate. Here he is, Rylan.
Oh, it feels weird sitting this side.
The decade that changed my life.
I keep looking straight into the camera and going, and I'm like, that's not my job tonight. That's not me.
Now, the brilliant thing about this book, right, is there's no messing about, Michael. He gets straight in. You open it, there's a little index, there's a little introduction, and then bang, straight in, the morning, everything changed.
Yeah, straight in.
Now, I knew some of the story.
You did.
But I was still gobsmacked reading it.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to start at that point?
Just to get it all out of the way. Just get it done. I mean, like, obviously last year was awful and we were speaking a lot of the time. One show, actually, hosting was one of the first things I properly got back into with you after I got quite ill last year. And, yeah, when I was writing the book, I just thought, let's just do it. Let's just get this out of the way because actually my 10 years there's a lot more than just that moment. Yes, it was a massive part of my life. And it was really difficult writing what I had to write and sort of revisiting a time that I never thought would cross my mind or be part of my life, but it did. And yeah, that chapter was really, really difficult. There was sort of the chapter I wrote that was the angry chapter. There was the chapter that I wrote that had nothing in. There was the chapter that I wrote that was enough, but maybe not as real as it could be. And then there's the chapter that's ended up in the book, which is an amalgamation of all the 3. I mean, there'll be bits that you know that aren't in the book, but this is my book, and this is my responsibility, it's my onus, so yeah.
But I mean, you know, obviously what you're talking about, that first chapter is the breakdown of your marriage, and that is something that is so personal. I mean, was there, you know, I know you know, you're so confident and so brilliant with your way of words. How hard was it to be that honest in that first chapter?
It was harder writing about it than actually living it.
Right.
Which is quite strange because obviously I started writing the book before my marriage ended. And then all of a sudden I'm writing a book and then the book becomes a different book because it's a massive part of my life. There was things that I were going to put in the book that I ended up didn't from a legal point of view.
Yeah.
And not that it was anything salacious or anything like that, just things like, oh, you know, I'd receive a text saying X, Y, Z. And then the legal team would be like, can you just show us that text so we can prove it if ever? And I was like, sure. And just scrolling back, I can't do this. So I took it out because I didn't want to live it. No. I got so ill last year that I don't need to do that. And look, at the end of the day, people will be like, well, why are you talking about it then? It's like, because I've got a book to sell, darling. But to be perfectly honest, I was finished with the book months ago.
Yeah.
I'd done that. It is done. It is dusted to me. It's now obviously out, so you have to be peddled about and do this.
And it will answer a lot of questions because people missed you for a long period of time, and it does address and answer all those questions in that first chapter.
It does.
But then we move forward.
We move forward and backwards.
And backwards at the same time. We look on happier times, and you talk a lot about your relationship with fame and how that's changed, especially since the first book you wrote,
majorly.
which was 8 years ago.
Yeah,
so
a long
time.
time.
How, now you've been reflective looking back, how do you think, your relationship with fame is very different now to when you started out?
I think a lot of people that have watched me on shows would probably think that I love all of that. I would definitely be at a premiere, I'd definitely be at this, I'd definitely be at that. And 10 years ago I would, because that was the exciting part. When something happens to you for the first time, it's like, oh, a goodie bag, but oh, another nice hotel. But it's like, how many mini shampoo and conditioners can you fit in your bedside drawer? Do you know what I mean?
I
just
still
rub
get
them.
quite
How many
excited.
have you got?
Too many. That's the worry. It's like a small branch of boots.
I've got
Other places are available. But that's literally what it was. But you guys actually know me. I'm the most boring person. I'm like, no, I'm all right, darling, don't worry about it. I hate it. I love my job. I adore my job. I'm so lucky to do the job that I do. I get paid to do a job that I love, and I am so grateful for that. I just don't like the other side of it, which is what attracted me to it all in the first place. So it's crazy over a decade, and I can't believe I'm even saying the words a decade, that you have that 360 of, when I first started, it was about being that and getting that and being invited to those places. Not really the job. Now it's the job, and let's not worry about all of that.
No.
I like normal.
You know, at the end of the book, you say the only thing you want is to go forward, be happy in the next decade.
Yeah.
Are we edging towards it?
I'm definitely on my way. I'm on my way to sorting this out. And listen, things take time. Things are going to take time. I got very bad last year, and I mean, to the point in the book, there's a warning in the book at the beginning about things that I talk about. And I just thought, my personal life is my personal life, but unfortunately last year it became public. So let's just be honest about it. I clearly can't deal with secrets.
No.
Hey, well, look, Rylan, thank you so much. Obviously, mate,
Thank you.
we love you here. Look, 10, The Decade That Changed My Future is out today. And Rylan is back on It Takes Two tomorrow night, BBC Two at 6:30 p.m.
Now, you may remember, I love that. Earlier in the year, we told them. We'll just do a couple of messages really quickly. Question to Rylan. Emma asks, would you ever get back into singing? Please say no.
I've been through a lot this last year.
Very good. We've had so many nice texts as well. We've had another one. I was 7 years of age. It's from Michelle. 7 years of age. Michael Palin, so lovely. We had to sing a rude song in the film of Life of Monty Python.
Yes.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. That's right, yeah.
That is all we've got time for tonight. Thank you so much to Rylan and to Michael.
See you then.
Bye-bye.